Waldo Politics is now live. Streaming just chatting. Civil rights will be taken from you and the media will not help. At Waldopolitics yo, your stream's snoozing peakpie.com wakes it up instantly. Remove the space, at CZED. OMG thanks useless robot. Getting started soon. Hop into Twitch chat for text-to-speech. Also Nubit and Dono sounds. I'm here. Gonna watch while I cook breakfast. Yum. I love breakfast but not in the mornings. Haha. It's gonna be chorizo burritos. Not sure if I want to do beef or pork, yet.
Oh, hi, how you doing? My name is Waldo, and I'm here to feel the politics with you. How is everybody today? I am doing great, thank you. It's very bright out there, and I don't like it. I would like for the clouds to be overhead so that doesn't throw my camera off, but I can't. Maybe I'll get some curtains, but even then, I still have all of these skylights that are goofing me up over here. You see this? Ooh, a robot. Thank you, robot. I appreciate that. Banning a robot does make me feel better. So that's good. It's every time you start talking, and they know when I come on too. It's like there's some sort of device, uh, artificially intelligent device that hears me speak and then starts selling me bullshit. So yeah, that's cool. But yeah, hi, how you doing? How are you? uh, hop in the chat and tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling. If you're in the Twitch chat, the lovely robot, also powered by AI, will read your stuff out loud. If you're in Kick Chat or YouTube chat, it doesn't do that because I'm not smart enough to make it work. It might. I might be able to get Kick Chat online, but I don't think YouTube's going to work. I've fiddled with it and I've tried. But I also updated the dono and the bits sound. So if you have even a single bit to throw at me on Twitch, we will get a new silly fun sound, and it entertains me. You might not like it, or I might get canceled for it, but I like it, and it entertains me, and that's what's important, really. Isn't that what's important? Is me being entertained with my childish, silly jokes. That's what's important around here, and I know that, you know that, and I appreciate that. So, what are we doing today? Today is Saturday, so I have a handful of links to look at. We've got a bunch of, we'll start off with like a personal thing that I have about YouTube and algorithms and Disney. Then we'll move on to some breaking news that just happened about H-1B visas, and then we'll talk about your rights being removed and all that fun stuff, and how the media is not going to help you, and then we'll do a little war report. That's what we're doing today. So, and if we run out of things to talk about, we'll play a video game. Maybe that won't happen. I don't know. You never know. Sometimes I fly through the links, and then at the end, I'm looking at the time, and I'm like, oh man, I got like 30 more minutes, and so we play a video game. And we have the text to speech. Liz, hi. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for the spinning Charizards. That's very nice. Thank you. Or is it Charmander? Or Charmeleon? I forget which one. And some more Pokemons. That's very cool. You can go on over to the Kick Chat and post Pokemons. Very nice. I like Pokemons. I used to have some Bulbasaurs that sat back here, but it is now, as the temperatures cool, the Bulbasaurs go into hibernation. So we had to put Mega Man back here. They ran away, and now I had nothing there. So, hi. Let's get started with the very first story for today. What are we looking at? What are we doing? Waldo, you should do some buttons. Window capture, there it is. Bulski, there it is. Disney has lost nearly $4 billion in 3 days from combined stock price collapse and canceled subscriptions. So, Disney, it owns ABC. ABC puts on the Jimmy Kimmel show. Jimmy Kimmel got canceled for two reasons. One, he doesn't make enough money. And two, the companies, the giant behemoth whale economic engine companies that run these things need Donald Trump to like them. Okay? They need that. If he doesn't like them, he uses the government to harm them. And so they need him to like them. So they do favors for him. And this time, they needed him to, his FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, or something like that, who is a fascist, and wants to control what you see and what you hear, and he wants to create a propaganda network that amplifies Donald Trump's message. That's what Brendan Carr wants to do, which means they have to get rid of all the people who argue against them, the people who do not support Donald Trump. So they have to get rid of them. And to get rid of them, Michael Eisner, to get rid of them, they have to, ABC, to make Donnie like them, have to silence the voices that talk against Donald Trump, which is Jimmy Kimmel at the moment. He's not making enough money, and he talks shit about Trump, so he has to go so that they can merge with this other company The merger could be stopped by the government, but they want the government to like them, so they have to do something. And that's the point. And because the people, and these are boomers, man, this isn't the millennials or the Gen X's. This is the boomers all seeing Jimmy Kimmel get fired and then stop supporting Disney. This is working. This is working. The boomers and the Gen X's really do control the economy. I'm sorry, but they do. If you're younger than 40 years old, you have no say in the economy. The people who are younger than 40, what they do is they go to YouTube and they complain about Disney. I don't know if you've ever been on YouTube or typed the word Star Wars into YouTube. If you have, you will see mountains and mountains and mountains of hatred. You really do. If you go to YouTube and just type the word Star Wars, you will see thousands of videos talking shit about Disney, talking shit about DEI, talking shit about any black character that exists within Star Wars, any woman that exists within Star Wars. You will see mountains and mountains of anti-woke propaganda telling you that they went woke and they went broke. And it was never true. They went woke and they made money. But now you can look right here and see Disney doing what the fascists want and going broke. If you go right, you go broke. If you appease Donald Trump, you go broke. It's been the opposite of what the hate mongers on YouTube have been telling you for a very long time, because they're liars. They're wrong. They have been backward this entire time, and they have been trying for a very long time to make you also backwards. As Trump said, NATO's response will be to the Polish and Estonian airspace violations. We are going to talk about that closer to the end of the stream because he is incompetent and doesn't know what he's talking about. But we will get to that much later. Sorry to drag you along, but that's just the way I ordered my tabs today. But we will talk about that. Yeah, if you go woke, you go broke is what they've been telling you. And they're wrong. It's always been wrong. But they want it to be true, so they tell you over and over and over and over again. They pump out page after page after page, video after video, video after video, telling you that the problem with the movies, the problem with cinema, the problem with Disney, the problem with everything is that it's too woke. It's not true. We can see the graph right here. The thing that made Disney go broke was pre-complying with Donald Trump's demands. That's making them go broke. Stop pre-complying. Stop doing what he wants before he forces you with the government, because they haven't been forced yet. ABC did not get forced into kicking Jimmy Kimmel off the air. They did not get forced. They assumed future enforcement. And so they complied today. Self-censoring today leads to state censoring tomorrow. Stop doing it. Stop doing the self-censoring today. Because you know what happens next? The government, Donald Trump's government, sends a content monitor to Disney, to ABC, to tell them what they can and cannot put on the air. Brendan Carr will take away the licenses, and they talked about that a lot over the past couple of days, taking away the licenses from all these local broadcasters if they post things that Donnie doesn't like. And they're going to pre-comply. They're going to get ready ahead of time to make him feel better. We can see a little bit of it right here. Here we go. There is... let's listen to the president threaten to use the government to harm people.
Capitalism ass policies.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. So let's listen to Donnie threaten some people to take their licenses away.
Look, that's something that should be talked about for licensing too. When you have a network and you have evening shows and all they do is hit Trump. That's all they do. If you go back, I guess they haven't had a conservative on in years or something.
All of that is not true. They do hit him because he's a clown. It's very easy to make jokes about clowns. His hair is an unnatural color. His hair is a weird, disturbing shape. His face is painted and his clothes don't fit. He is literally a clown. So it's very easy to make jokes about clowns.
But when you go back and you take a look, all they do is hit Trump. They're licensed. They're not allowed to do that.
They're not allowed to do that, says the head of the executive branch. They're not allowed to do that. They are. Mr. Trump, they are allowed to do that. They're allowed to say whatever they want. They can call you a clown if they feel like it. I can too, and I just did. And I will continue to do so. Even if you took my license away. I just do it on the street where I seem like a crazier person. I'll bring the tinfoil hat. It'll be a whole thing. But you're allowed to do that because that's what the First Amendment is about. It's about criticizing the people in charge, criticizing the people in power. You were not allowed to criticize the King of England when we were part of the colonies. That was probably illegal, which is why they wrote that First Amendment, that whole freedom of speech thing. Conservatives don't know what that means. They don't know what freedom is. They don't know what freedom means. They think that because they are a certain way, you're not allowed to criticize them and their way because they are right and they are correct and everything they do is perfect. And if you criticize it, you're just wrong and being wrong on purpose, intentionally, willingly wrong. That's not how opinions work. That's not how brains work. That's not how the freedom of speech works. Let's continue listening to him because he says another one right here. Here we go.
Speech this week. Do you see a difference between cancel culture and consequence culture?
I mean, you're...
And even that is because he doesn't let actual reporters in. He only lets in the people he likes to ask him questions. They've been calling it consequence culture. You're not being canceled, okay? The right hates cancel culture, even though they do it all the time. So they call it consequence culture, and it's exactly the same thing. They just give it a different name because they're morally bankrupt and they're intellectually lacking. They can't tell the difference. So let's see what this has.
I mean, your question's a little trick question. I'm a very strong person for free speech.
No, he's not. That's a lie.
At the same time, when you have networks that where I won an election, like in counties, I guess it's 2,600 to 525. That's called landslide. A landslide times 2. When you
landslide times 2. What the fuck does that have to do with the person who's criticizing you? It has nothing to do with that. You're just jibber jabbering. Landslide times 2.
You have that level of popularity or voter support, as I did in the last election, and yet 97 and 94% different.
Made up numbers.
You see different numbers with different stats.
Depends on who's making them up.
97, 94, 95, 96% of the people are against me in the sense of the newscasts are against me. The stories are they said 97% bad. So they gave me 97. They'll take a great story and they'll make it bad. See, I think that's really illegal.
Really illegal. Really illegal. The words they said, the story they printed. They took a good story that he made up. They took his bullshit, his lies, his misunderstanding of reality, and then found out what was true and told the people what was true. And that is really illegal.
Personally, you can't have a free airwaves. You're getting free airwaves from the United States government.
You can't have free airwaves. You can't take the free.
And you can't have that and say, and somebody that just won an election, and I had to go through this during the election.
Free speech.
You can't have those free airwaves telling people things he doesn't like. He won the election, you guys. He won the election. That means every opinion he has and every single thing he says is true. And you're not allowed to argue about that. That's what it means to his broken brain. It means that you aren't allowed to criticize him. You're not allowed to tell him that he is a liar and wrong. Or else you get harmed by the government. And that's in his brain, free speech. You are allowed to do the things. You're not even allowed to do it. It's illegal to say things against him. That's free speech in his brain. He loves free speech, but you're not allowed to use it to argue with him. That's not free speech. That's arguing with him. That's suggesting that he's wrong. That's suggesting that he's doing things incorrectly. That is illegal. He is going to take your rights away. He is. He wants to take your rights away. Freedom of press and the freedom of speech are started. Freedom of protest is being attacked all over the place. We'll look at some protest videos later, and fascists cheering when protesters get hurt because they like political violence. Stay tuned for that. They want to take your rights away. They do, and they're working on it. Donald Trump is working on taking your rights away. Let's see, where was it? Did I have another link for that? Here we go. Them about TikTok. So even the internet isn't safe because they're coming for TikTok too. Let's watch this one.
But this deal does put America's first. And let me just be very clear. This deal means that TikTok will be majority owned by Americans in the United States. There will be 7 seats on the board that controls the app in the United States.
That controls the app in the United States. And what goes on it and what doesn't go on it and what the rules are and who gets to post things. And if you are maybe kind of anti-Trump, they won't allow it. The people on that board are going to be gigantic billionaire CEOs. And what they will do is whatever's best for their bottom line. They don't care about you. They don't care about your access to free speech. They don't care about what you have to post. They don't give a damn about what maybe you would say. They care about money. Money, 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 money. SpongeBob. SpongeBob is up, me boy. It's all about the money. That's all that matters to these people. And the government is going to put one person in charge there. So the 6 of those seats will be Americans. And the 7th will be a government appointed person from Donald Trump. He's going to put one person on that board to report back to him what those other 6 are saying, what those other 6 are suggesting. They will have a man on the inside, on the board, pushing the propaganda, forcing them to implement rules to do pro-Trump propaganda. The media is being turned even further than it already was. It was already all based on money, but it's getting worse now. Let's finish this clip before I rant a little bit.
And 6 of those seats will be Americans. And the data and privacy will be led by one of America's greatest tech companies, Oracle. And the algorithm will also be controlled by America as well. So
the algorithm will be controlled by them, by the party, for the party, of the party. They will tell you what to see. They will bring it up to you. They will put it in front of your face. And anything that is against the party will be silenced.
All of those details have already been agreed upon. Now we just need this deal to be signed, and that will be happening, I anticipate, in the coming days.
Making some news there. So 6 of the 7 seats will be American held. Sounds like a deal that puts American interests first. Caroline.
But this deal.
Maybe the 7th will be Chinese or something like that. I don't know. I don't know who that 7th will be, but all of them will be on Donnie's good list. You can't be on Donnie's naughty list and be in charge of on this board. It won't happen. He will get you removed. He'll tell everybody that you need to be removed. They'll all vote to remove you because it'll hurt their bottom line. Capital often walks hand in hand with fascism. It really does. And it continues to happen. The big media companies like CNN, like Fox News, like TikTok, like YouTube and stuff like that. YouTube less so because it's online, but the big TV companies, the mainstream media, they do not exist to inform you anymore. They exist to sell you things. Sometimes it's real stuff like a soda or the latest nicotine delivery system, or my favorite, the big pharma monstrosity drugs that are for treating something stupid like restless elbow syndrome. With a list of side effects and warnings like a mile long. Side effects may include loss of face, spontaneous human combustion, and homicidal rage. Pills should not be handled by women, children, or men. If you or a family member who begins excreting from underneath your fingernails, see a doctor immediately. Those are my favorite commercials. Those are the good ones. And they work for them. They don't work for you. They're not there to bring you information. The information they bring you is just bait. It's clickbait. It is to get you there to watch the commercials, to get you to watch the commercials for the soda, for the nicotine, for the drugs, for the catheters, for the latest Subway sandwich, for the latest Bitcoin. I do suspect that we're going to get a lot more Bitcoin commercials on TV soon, because that's where all the dumb people are. It's where as we saw with the Jimmy Kimmel thing, that is where all the people with money are, is watching TV. I know that that's disturbing to anybody under 40, that the people are watching television. Ugh, gross. Why would you watch TV? It's just ads all day long. But that's where the most of the people are, for now anyway. And what the hell was I talking about? Okay, so yeah, they work for that money. That's what they're there for. The mainstream media exists to make money from those companies. They are just paid to sell you shit you probably don't need. The right-wing media exists to sell you conservative ideas. So yes, CNN is there to sell you sodas and nicotine and drugs. Fox News, OAN, Newsmax, all that shit is there to sell you right-wing propaganda. They're paid to do that. They get money from the CPACs and shit like that to give you right-wing arguments, explanations for why the right wing is correct, apologetics for why Donald Trump is correct and everyone else is wrong, why it's okay for Trump to remove human rights. Those are bad people he removed their human rights from. You don't need those rights. As a good person, you don't want to transition, so you aren't using that right anyway, so nobody gets to have it. That's their rationale. That's their explanation. That is their job. That is what they are there to do. Even if they are losing money, even if they are not making money. Old Rupert Murdoch lost money for the first decade of Fox News because that's not the point for him. He was not there to make money. He was there to launder conservatism, wash it, whitewash it, clean it up, put it in a fancy suit and tell you that it's true. It's not true, and it's a dangerous fascist ideology, but his job was to make it more palatable. The people in charge of the right wing know that they're wrong. And I'm not talking about the rural Nebraska dirt farmer who wears a red hat and thinks that Trump's right about everything. I'm talking about the people that work in the government to implement Project 2025, the people at the media. They know they are against the First Amendment. They know that they are taking people's rights away. But they like it. They're doing it because they morally feel like it's correct, or financially think that it will get them paid more. And we can point to their inconsistencies. We can point to their contradictions and we can't expect them to change. And that's the issue that I'm dealing with at the moment. I can point out their inconsistencies. I can point out their problems. I can point out where they're wrong. I can point out where they're doing things incorrectly. I can point out where they're lying. But it doesn't matter. The vast majority of people will never hear it. The algorithm won't put it in front of their faces, and because I'm not on CNN, people won't notice. And even if I were on CNN, they would take my money away. They would cancel me for saying some certain things, and they would fire me for saying harsh truths. You can go onto the internet and find people telling you the truth sometimes, but you find mostly liars. Bullshit pays. It really does. You get more money lying to people than you do telling them the truth. That is the culture you're in. That is the culture you're a part of. Have you ever read a fictional book? Well, sure. I watch fictional TV all the time. I read fictional books. I play video games about people who can fly and shoot fucking laser beams. None of that's real, but it's more fun. It's more pleasant. It's more acceptable. Nonfiction, it's boring as shit. I don't read nonfiction books. I don't watch nonfiction television shows. And even if you do, they're hyped up. They're over-exaggerated. If you watch reality TV, it's just hot people banging each other and screaming obscenities. And that's not very real. If you watch the true crime shit, they don't just tell you about a normal person having a normal day. They tell you about the horrible nightmare monster thing that happened to them, which is normal, you know, and that gives humanity a distorted view on what is real. So most people do not know what's real. Most people do not connect with reality. We all have our own little bubbles. I recognize that I'm in one myself, and I know that it's there, and I try and branch out and understand what everybody else is thinking. But how do we get people to pay attention to the reality, pay attention to the ideas, pay attention to the facts that are happening in front of them? I don't know. Because the media is not here to help you with that. They are not here to help you with that. They are here to sell you something. Each media operation sells you something different, and whatever they're selling you is promoted. They are trying to sell you on something. MSNBC is trying to sell you on the Democrat Party. They are. They're not leftists. Don't fucking get that shit wrong. If you don't know the difference between the DNC and the leftist, you need to watch my show more often, so that we can separate those two things. Is the DNC's left of center? Yes. Are they leftists? No. They work for money. They operate to get maximum donations and then give that to consultants who will then maximize more donations and get more money. That's their operation. And the MSNBC is there to help you make that feel better and accept that. And they give you nothing and tell you that it's something. It's a whole thing. So they're selling something as well. Everybody's selling something. I'm selling myself right here, right now. Telling you that I'm bringing you some truth, some of my own opinions, yes, but from my specific point of view. Everybody's selling something because you live in a capitalist hellscape. You do, I do, everybody, every one of us has to pay to live. Even the homeless people have to pay to live. They have to find a place that'll allow them. They have to spend pocket change on eating food. They have to spend pocket change that you give them on the side of the road to hide in a shelter or something like that. Everybody has to pay to live. Everybody has to work to live. I get it. Some of that is unavoidable, but the people at the top, the whales, the big monstrosities at the top, the CNNs, the giant media corporations, the people that are way above you, kicking out billions of dollars in revenue. They need billions more. And they can only get that if they follow the rules, if they follow the laws of whoever's in charge right now. And right now, a fascist is in charge. Donald Trump is a fascist. He is a white nationalist. He is an authoritarian. And he is writing the rules now. So they have to follow him. They will not help you. They will not help you. They will not help you in the next election. They might prefer somebody else to be in charge, but they're not really going to push that. If they push it too hard, he will use the power of the government to harm them. And that is why he can't be trusted. That is why you need to talk to people in reality and tell them to stop supporting Donald Trump. That's all there is to it. I'm telling you right now, and I'm telling everybody in my life, stop supporting him. You don't have to scream it at the top of your lungs every time a business meeting starts, but in your personal life, in the people that you talk to, the people that you see face-to-face in real life, tell them, this guy's bad. He is harming free speech, and he is harming people, and he is chopping off the people who speak the truth. He is harming Jimmy Kimmel, which is a thing, and it's actually working. These are the people that talk to people. These are the boomers right here. This is not the millennial Gen Z crowd that's upset about Jimmy Kimmel. Gen Z doesn't watch Jimmy Kimmel. They don't know who he is. They don't understand the late night fucking TV show structure. But the boomers like it. The Gen X is used to it. So when you change those things, they get upset, and then they hit them in the wallet. This is more activism than anything the Gen Z has ever done. And I'm very upset that this is the thing that works. You know, telling people the truth online doesn't matter. Telling people what's real on social media does not matter. TV ratings still matter. Who knew? So yeah, if you're watching, if you're in chat, go on over to the YouTube page. You can go over there, watch all my old videos. You can go to the Discord and tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling. There's always a debate raging in there about something. Go on over there, tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling. Leave some links. I usually look at some of them. There are a lot sometimes, but I look at them. And I post funny memes, and then there's pictures of dogs, cute, adorable doggies, in the Discord. There, you can post your own cute, adorable doggy if you'd like to, or cats. Cats are acceptable. Don't go nuts, though. That's my most controversial take. That's the one that's going to get me canceled. Is I like dogs better than cats. That's the one that's going to kill me on the internet. So yeah, tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. Go on over there. We close some links, and then we will jump on to the next thing, which I think is interesting. Like that. Close this. Close this. There's some stuff. Okay. Kind of on the same subject, but maybe not. Yeah, let's do this. This is only half a segue. The things that should be on the news. Okay, yeah, let's not change subjects just yet. Is CNN showing you what's going on? Important things. I think this is important. Let's look at this thing that I think is important, but I'm not sure CNN is even showing or talking about or anybody even noticing. This is people protesting ICE. That should be on every news network for the next 24 hours. That should be. It should be.
Oh my God. That was really cool, guys. You guys are super cool for that. Wow. Big tough guys.
This is what needs to be on the news.
She's getting a sign. She's getting a sign. Go get it for her. Go get it for her. Give me a sign.
The Gestapo hurting American citizens. That is what should be leading the news.
Give me a sign.
Waldo, that's an insurrection. They're clearing rioting.
You're gonna need some shit. You have to. It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse.
Armed Gestapo thugs are harming American citizens. That is what needs to be on the goddamn news. But it's not. Well, we're going to go over to CNN here in just a minute and see if it's even on there. I haven't checked yet, but I suspect that it's not.
We're not threatening anyone. Move out! Move out! Move out! How is she supposed to move? Move her out! Let's go! Move her out! Right there, that's good.
Those are brown shirts. Those are Gestapo thugs harming American people. People protesting the fact that those armed Gestapo thugs are harming innocent people. Because that's what they're doing.
With the peace sign.
Exactly. This is what needs to be on the goddamn TV. This is what needs to be on the TV.
What a legend, this lady.
She's fantastic.
Absolute
and she's doing
legend.
an absolute
farm.
Absolutely. She's doing a fantastic job. And that should be the goddamn leading story for the next goddamn week. But it won't be. Because if you lead with this story, including me right now telling you about it, you might be harmed by the American government. Donald Trump's government does not want you to see this, and he will harm you if you post it, if you talk about it, and if you put it on the goddamn TV. Because they are authoritarians. They are fascists. They are coming for your rights. I don't care where you are on the planet. I know, I think, Valor, you're not in America, but you won't be helped if America loses their rights. It will only get worse for everybody on the fucking planet. Why are they protesting? Because that is an ICE facility that is illegally keeping people in captivity, innocent people who have committed no crimes. They came here undocumented, which shouldn't be a crime.
They'd like to have the same effect here, I'm sure.
Yeah, wherever you are, there are fascists that want to take your rights away. So let's keep looking at some more of these videos, because it wasn't just that one. There are more. Here they are again, same place, doing pretty much the same thing. Harming people, hurting them. And oh, hey, here we have Nazi Barbie doll, Laura Ingraham, an actual literal Nazi. She has thrown up the Sieg Heil secretly, smoothly, hiding it with waves in the past, because she's a secret Nazi.
Including a Democrat congressional candidate who was thrown to the ground by an ICE agent. Good work. Good work
Doing this bit of violence here. So that is Kat Abu Ghazala, who is running for office in Illinois. You've probably seen her on the internet. If you haven't, you should go look her up. She's very cool, and I hope she wins. But she's there also protesting, which is what the politicians are supposed to do. You should have congressional people out here doing this protest. You should. You should be out there doing exactly this. I want every member of the fucking House right here. You understand me? Find the ICE area in your district, stand in front of it, and get fucking arrested. Because that's what you're supposed to do. That is your job. It's part of your job anyway. And then it will be on the fucking news. It'll be on the TV. CNN might have to cover that if a House member who is actually elected got tear gassed and then thrown around. And if ICE doesn't do that because you're there, guess what? You win. The Democrats have forgotten what they're supposed to be doing. They think that they are just supposed to politely argue, write sternly worded letters, and vote however they feel like. No, you're supposed to be out there. You're supposed to be on the ground. You're supposed to be here getting tear gassed. And I hope she wins because of this. I really do. Let's go back to Kat here. I hope she wins because of this Gestapo thug harming her. I'm sorry that she got harmed. I didn't want her to be harmed. But this is a right-wing person celebrating violence. Haven't we been talking about that all fucking week? Past 2 damn weeks? Celebrating political violence and how the left fucking does it. When you see Nazi Barbie doll, Laura Ingraham right here doing it. She likes it when Dems get hurt. She likes it when liberals get hurt. She likes it when the left gets pepper sprayed, tear gassed, and harmed. She likes it. And she supports it. But if you ask her if she supports political violence, she will say no, because she is a goddamn liar. All Nazis are. Anybody supporting Trump at this point is lying somehow, a little bit. They're either ignoring the fact that he's doing these things, or they're lying to you about their feelings. J.D. Vance, Chance Stance Vance, just like last week, on my last video, I did look at him, and he talked about how the liberals are more likely to celebrate violence, and the Republicans weren't. Nonsense. The Republicans love violence. They just lie to pollsters all the time. They lie about their feelings. They lie about their thought processes, of the which they don't really have. They lie about their feelings. They lie about who they hate. They lie about being racist. They lie about their positions. They lie about who they voted for, and they lie about who they're going to vote for in the future. That's conservatism, baby. That's Republicans. They feel like Laura does. Laura loves this video. She loves it. Laura Ingraham is a Nazi, and I'm going to tell you she's a Nazi until they hang me from the goddamn gallows. I'm going to tell you that she is. And she loves political violence, but she's going to lie to you about it. She's going to tell you that she's against political violence while cheering it on, while posting videos of it and telling you that she's against it. Because they cannot be trusted. They are bad faith. Conservatism requires bad faith arguments. They cannot tell you what they actually think. They cannot tell you what they actually feel, because what they feel is hatred.
Whale Watcher.
Whale
Calls
Watcher.
them as I see 'em.
I saw her on some more news, and she said an AI voice came on a loudspeaker and said if they wouldn't disperse, they would use lethal force. Obviously, they didn't do that a lethal bit, but still, yeah. They are not to be trusted. The bad guys in these videos are the ICE agents. They are doing illegal things for bad reasons. They are lying to you about immigrants. They are lying to you about the number of immigrants. Donald Trump told you that there were 50 million illegals in America. That's a fucking lie. And he told you that he would get them out and it would be easy. That's a damn lie. And then he told you that it would help your economy, and that's a damn lie. All conservatism is based on lies. Chance Dance Vance, just last week, told us that conservatism is based on the life and teachings of Jesus Christ, and that's a lie. That it is based on that, and then it's a fairy tale story anyway. So, a fairy tale story that they based a bunch of lies about, and then they built a foundation of fairy tale, and then they built scaffolding and structures of lies on top of it. It's all lies. And if you are in that party, if you are on the right, you are lying to yourself somewhere, and you're lying to everyone around you about something. Some things. Some people are more authentic than others, but they all face the same idea that they're lying somewhere, somehow. They're lying about their support for Donald Trump. They're lying about what he actually said, or they're lying to themselves that they believe it. You can find conservatives who will tell you that they believe that immigrants are hurting the economy. You can show them evidence to the contrary, but they won't believe it because they are self-lying. They're lying to themselves. They're lying to themselves to make the world look more like what they want it to look like. They're creating a fiction, hoping and working towards making that fiction a reality, rather than looking at reality and then making it better. That's what we ought to do. As a leftist, if you're watching, if you're paying attention, if you want to be a leftist, look at reality, make it slightly better. And what that leads to is people arguing about microaggressions. It really does. I don't like arguing about wokeism, but that's reality. That's reality. Woke is being real with people. Hey, it hurts people's feelings when you use the R word that I used to use in the 90s. You're not allowed to say it on Twitch, so I won't say it here. You are allowed on YouTube for some reason. The mentally disabled R word. It's harmful to people to say it. So I stopped saying it. I did every as a 90s kid. Everything was that word. I once described a bag of chips using that word. So it was ingrained in me, but I have tried to stop, and I don't say it on the stream because it's harmful to people. That's wokeism. I have changed my behavior to make the world a better place, to make the world better, to make society work, function better. Conservatives refuse this. They will never do that. The worst slurs still get thrown around in conservatism all the time. They like it. It makes them feel good. They want to drag the world backwards. They want to drag the world to the past where they grew up. The world was much better when they were 18 years old, and that's where the world needs to be. It needs to stop and maybe even go backward even further than that, depending on who you ask. But they are a backward-facing ideology. They want the world to go backwards. But as a leftist, you need to look at the world. You need to see what is actually happening. And it tastes like shit. It tastes like shit. Reality tastes like shit. And then make it taste a little bit better. Just make it a little bit better. Stop doing things like that. If you want to help individually, you could stop using sexist type language. I know in the field I worked that there were a lot of people who would use derogatory type sexual language, like hey, did you see what the boss said? That sucks dick. Well, okay, well, sucking dick is nice and pleasant and good, so don't use that. It's a sexist term. We'll have to bend over for the new boss and stuff like that. You're like, no, bending over is cool. If you want it to stop being a pejorative, Stop using pejorative language towards sex acts that mostly ladies perform. So, I mean, you can do that as an individual, but that doesn't help the broad society. What we need for broad society is the media, is the people on top, the whales, to tell you that this is bad. But we don't have that. We don't have the giants of media telling you that this is bad. We have the giants of media telling you good job. Let's see if any of this is on CNN. I'm going to go to CNN's website. I'm going to go to YouTube. We're going to type in CNN. Going to go there. We're going to click on their thing. And we're going to look at the videos. We got, okay, what do we got? We got Kimmel drama, free speech. Okay, Trump's economic policies impacting grocery prices because the consultants told them way too late that this was going to be a thing. They could have brought this up during the campaign. They could have shown us charts and stuff like that. They could have pushed this 9 months ago, but the consultants hadn't wrapped their heads around it yet, and the consultants weren't sure where it was going to go, so they couldn't talk about it. That's why the Dems are always kind of behind. I'm going off topic right now, but the Dems are always at least 6 weeks behind the current issue because they have to see the news, send it to the think tank. The think tank has to get people's buy-in. They have to go to social media, find out what everybody's talking about. Then they have to bring it back to the think tank. Then they have to sift through that data. They have to weed out the trolls. They have to put together a talking point, and then they have to measure that talking point against a target audience. They have to refine that message from the target audience to maximize Democrat donations, and then they give that information to Chuck Schumer, who then says it 6 weeks after the fucking problem. That's why they're upset about groceries right now. But there is one. Chicago activists push back against federal presence. So let's watch CNN. I haven't watched this. I haven't seen it. I don't know how much of this is going to actually be good coverage or not, or just people talking about it, which is what I'm doing, I know. But
community leaders and advocates for immigrants are pushing back against the Trump administration's crackdown on immigration. ICE officers have been
not calling it fascism, not calling them Gestapo, weak stuff, but I get it. I get to be edgy. Why is my fucking thing not working? Go, you damn thing. I wanted to put it on 1.25 speed, but the buttons aren't working. I'm pressing buttons, so they're not doing anything. Okay, sorry. Here we go.
In the Chicago metro area for several days now, picking up suspected undocumented immigrants. Protesters held rallies outside an ICE facility in Broadview, just outside of Chicago, back on Friday.
There's Kat.
Federal agent pushed one protester to the ground. You saw it right there. She says agents also fired pepper balls at demonstrators. The mayor of Evanston.
No mention of who she is or that she's actually literally running for the thing. Maybe he'll mention it in the next few minutes.
Who was there alongside protesters, says federal agents tear gassed them. Mayor Daniel Biss says they will not be intimidated. Joining me now to discuss the public resistance to federal operations in Chicago is Alderman Byron Sigcho Lopez. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, sir, to talk about this. Let's start here. What are your constituents feeling right now as these ICE operations increase?
Good morning, Danny. Thank you for the invitation.
Also, who is this guy? I've never seen this guy before, but I don't think he's a big name. I've never heard his name. I watch the news all the fucking time. I've never seen this guy. I don't know who this is. They gave it to the C team. This, what I'm telling you, should be on fucking primetime TV. The most important thing that you could ever see, not the most important thing you could ever see, but the most important thing that's going on in the country right now is just Sunday morning stuff.
It's being a terror unleashed on our streets. We saw in the beginning of the Midwest Blitz operation, we already have a neighbor who has been killed in these operations. Yesterday or 2 days ago, there was a neighbor that was tased. There was a U.S. citizen that was tased and hospitalized because of the barbaric nature of these operations. We have seen child endangerment. At least 2 operations, one in Cicero, one in Chicago, in Little Village, in my neighborhood.
But Waldo, Trump said some more words, so we have to give all the prime time to him.
Dragged out of the vehicle in front of their minors. The children were minors,
right?
Creating child endangerment. And yesterday, what we saw, the shameful actions of Gregory Bobino and his group of mercenaries, because that's how we got called. People who were shooting rubber bullets. I was there with Mayor Biss and a few other elected officials, including Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, a few minutes before this happened. Rubber bullets and chemical weapons that were shot at protesters that were just expressing the discontent.
I see you there, Tony. I'll talk to you in just a sec.
And with all these shameful operations that are creating terror. We have kids right now that are walking alone to school in some of our districts, and we have schools that right now don't have enough staff. So these children are even vulnerable to not having even any kind of support for the trauma that's been inflicted on them. So we have been seeing terror, violence, escalation that is really terrorizing many of our neighbors. We condemn and we reject these Gestapo tactics, and we want ICE out of our neighborhoods, out of our state, and we want these facilities like the Broadview facility, where we have multiple reports of inhumane conditions, to be shut down.
Alderman, Governor J.B. Pritzker, he's been speaking out also against these ICE raids and pushing back on the Trump administration's plans, or I guess we'll see if it comes true since they've been talking about it for many weeks now, to deploy the National Guard.
This is toothless. This is worthless. This is accomplishing nothing. This is hiding half of the facts. This is hiding most of the valuable context. This is why things keep going wrong, because the people who could stop it won't. CNN can't tell you what I've been telling you for the past few minutes.
Tony thinks the fascists won't come for him.
Well, he is a fascist, so they won't come for him. He's a helpful idiot. CNN will not help you. This is why I labeled the stream the way I did today. The media will not help you. When the fascists come for you, and they come for me, as Tony is suggesting, they might. The fascists might come for me. They might. The media will not help. The media will half-ass cover it. They'll have some tiny little background roll. They'll have the video of my murder and arrest by the state playing in the background, while some goober who you've never heard of tells you that it's some middle of the road. They'll leave out all the important context. They won't tell you who those people are. They won't tell you why it's important. They'll just say, well, is this against free speech? We don't know. How do you feel about it, audience? We don't know anything. We just ask questions. The media is supposed to tell you things, not just ask questions with no answers, and then when a liar lies to them, they just accept it. They have shifted from what they used to be. Back in a long time ago, 50 years ago, they would find information, they would ask difficult questions, and they would tell you the fucking answer, and they would tell you who's a goddamn liar. They don't do that anymore, because that's bad for business. Tony, what did Tony say? You guys killed Charlie Kirk. No, we didn't. One guy killed Charlie Kirk because he felt personally threatened by him. Charlie Kirk was a fascist. He wants harm to everyone who is not a straight white Christian man. And the people who think that might harm them, one of them shot him. Not everybody. You guys. Tony, fuck you and fuck your mama. You guys. Fuck off. You guys. Like it's a fucking team effort. Fuck off. Waldo, you're going to jail. What crime have I committed, Tony? What crime have I committed? Name one. By all means. Tell me what crime I've committed. Not feeling the right feelings? Not having the right thoughts? Wrong think? Is that the crime I've committed, Tony? Wrong think. Let that sink in. They might be coming for me, but they're fucking fascists, you see. What are you going to do about it, Waldo? Shoot me? No, I didn't call for violence. Nobody on the left did. You're the one calling for violence. We just saw a right-wing person cheer political violence, right? There, where'd she go? There she is. There's Laura Ingraham cheering political violence because she likes it. Let's watch her do it again, Tony, in case you weren't here.
A Democrat congressional candidate who was thrown to the ground by an ICE agent. Good work.
Good work, says the Nazi. Tony, this is your team. Stop being on their team, or else I'm going to call you a fascist too. So some nutcase felt threatened by words, and that justifies being killed. They're not just words. Tony, he talks to legislators. He is best friends with Donald Trump. He is best friends with J.D. Vance. He gets laws passed. Laws harm people if they're implemented poorly. Laws passed by a fascist government will hurt people, and then the people will strike back. That's how the fucking country got started. The king, who could not be questioned and could not be insulted, the king of England, who it was illegal to insult. It was illegal to badmouth him. It was illegal to question him. put laws about taxes on the people, and the people of America revolted. That is what you are seeing. That is exactly what you are looking at. Donald Trump puts tariffs on people, which is what the fucking Boston Tea Party was about, and then the people revolted. No, it's not. No, this is Tony's normal account. So being friends with people justifies it. I didn't say it justifies it. I'm telling you, he's passing fucking laws. He's getting laws that hurt innocent people passed. Dude, your views are part of a fringe minority. Yes, I know. Most Americans are on the right, and they're wrong. You're insane if you think that people are being galvanized in your direction. They're not being galvanized in my direction. I recognize this, Tony. The truth tastes like shit, and I'm telling you that I live in a conservative, right-wing country, rather than seeing it left for what it is, violent, mentally unwell freaks. The mentally unwell freaks are Laura Ingraham. She is the violent, mentally unwell freak, but she's normal in America. This ideology that you are looking at with Laura Ingraham right here is normal in America, and I don't like it. I don't want it to be normal in America. I want us to move left. I want us to move and progress past this, but it is normal in America. And if you tell people that it is normal in America and I want it to be something else, I sound crazy. I am the one-eyed man in the land of the blind, Tony. So I do seem crazy. Shifting goalposts. Look, man, all I can say is just don't go around shooting people. I never have, Tony. It won't end well for you, man. Think of your kids. I've never shot anybody, Tony. Why did you come in here telling me that
Meanwhile,
I did?
Trump has bombed 3 boats full of Venezuelan citizens in international water.
Excellent point, any of it. Let's talk about that. Let's do the war report since everybody's here. Let's do the war report. Let's see, war report. Oh, there it is. I had it on screen. Trump posts on Truth Social that he ordered another strike on what he claims is a drug trafficking boat. He presented no evidence that his victims in the 3 previous strikes were running drugs. Drug trafficking is also not a capital crime, which means you cannot be killed for it by the state. Trump is murdering people in international waters. And then he's going to demand a peace prize. He's harming other people based on bad information, based on lies that conservatism tells every day. Conservatives tell you every day that it's their fucking fault. It's the Venezuelans' fault. It's the South Americans' fault for America's drug problem. And they're lying. America's drug problem is America's fault. We like those drugs. People like drugs. They always have.
That's my name. Thief. XD.
People like drugs. Humans have always liked drugs. You can go back 3,000 years to goddamn Mesopotamia, and people liked drugs. They always have. They always will. So the answer is to comprehend what they want, why they want it, what they're doing and what they're doing with it, and are they abusing it? Are they harming themselves for what reason? Most of the people who are taking the fentanyl are doing that because they're poor and they have nothing. They are miserable. They hate their lives. Their lives have been ruined mostly by capitalism. And so they are poor. They have nothing. They have nothing to look forward to. They have nowhere to go. They have no money. They have no life to look forward to. So they take a drug to make them feel better. That's not Venezuela's fault. That's not the drug runners' fault. They're just being capitalists, literally. The people demand a thing and they are supplying it. It's the government's fault and capitalism's fault for making human beings suffer. Stop making humans suffer. Make those people less suffering. They will be less likely to do drugs. That's all there is to it. But that doesn't punish anybody. And conservatism and conservatives, looking at you, Tony, are obsessed with punishment. They love punishment, man. They find things they don't like and then punish the people who do them. That's conservatism. That's what they want. They want to punish the drug runner. They want to punish the person who does the drugs, unless it's a straight white man in Appalachia, and then we have to slightly figure out how to punish other people so that he doesn't get the drugs that he wants. And that's what Donald Trump's doing. He's punishing the people who bring the drugs so that, and illegally punishing them. Let's hear what he has to say. On my orders, the Secretary of War ordered a lethal kinetic strike on a vessel affiliated with a designated terrorist organization conducting narco trafficking in the U.S. Southcom area of responsibility. Intelligence confirmed the vessel was trafficking illicit narcotics and was transiting along a known narco trafficking passage en route to poison Americans. The strike killed 3 male narco-terrorists aboard the vessel, which was in international waters. No U.S. forces were harmed in the strike. Stop selling fentanyl, narcotics, and illegal drugs in America and committing violence and terrorism against Americans. So they're happy about this. They're proud of this. They love hurting people. This is political violence, y'all. How is this not fucking political violence? That's blatantly political violence. It's obviously political violence. But to a brain-dead conservative, political violence is only when you shoot Charlie Kirk. That's the only political violence that has ever existed. Kat Abu Ghazala getting thrown on her ass is not political violence to a conservative. Drug smugglers getting bombed by the fucking Hellfire missiles, not political violence. Shooting people as they cross the border from Mexico into America, not political violence if you ask them. They don't know what the words mean. And they are in charge of the country. They are in charge of everything, but they don't know what words mean. They don't know the definitions. They don't know what is and isn't political violence. And I've been thinking about it. All violence is political. All of it. Any of it. I think you mentioned somebody else had that same thought, and you linked a very cool thing in Discord. If you're not in the Discord, go to the Discord. It's a good place, full of good people. But yeah, all violence is political. All violence can be traced back to feelings, and all politics are based on feelings, which is where they intersect. I don't think that all violence necessarily is based on politics, but all of violence is based on feelings, and those feelings...
Mr. Beat is based AF.
Is he?
He's normally a history guy.
I do not know him, and that's the thing about the YouTube is it's so large that you can't know everybody, but I'll give him a look. But he said something similar, and any of it linked a photo of him saying that all violence is political, and I think he's onto something there, because this is a thought I had last week, too. If you are bombing boats, that's political. Donald Trump did political violence, and he's bragging about it. He's cheering about it, but he doesn't accept that this is political violence. He is a literal politician doing literal violence to literal human beings, and he's going to tell you, and the conservatives are going to tell you, that's not political violence. Political violence is when you throw a sandwich at an ICE agent. Political violence is when you block the cars from leaving the ICE facility. Political violence is when you shoot Charlie Kirk. That's political violence, according to them. But they lie about definitions. Where was I going with this? I was going somewhere with this. All violence is political. Do you disavow the shooting? I'm telling you that the shooting was a bad idea done by a bad person. It is not a good idea and is not something that I would suggest anybody do. I don't like political violence. Now, Tony, if you're being honest, is this political violence? I've just disavowed the shooter. Are you going to disavow Donald Trump for killing people for political reasons? I don't think you are. I don't think you care. I think you like political violence, Tony, if it benefits you and your side. You like political violence. Yes, I disavow Trump for being a Zionist puppet. Jesus Christ. Okay. So is this political violence? You would say yes then. Okay, great. Glad you're on board. Welcome to the revolution. You're a leftist now. Sorry. You're going to have to... I'll send you the packet. I'll send you the entire...
MMMKAY.
I'll put together the welcoming packet. It's got a fruit basket. It's very woke. It has they them greeting card. It's a whole thing. Anywho, all violence is political. All because it's all based on feelings, and all politics are based on feelings. If you let's see, name some violence. Let me think. If you are stealing somebody's car to sell it for money, and you knock them out and drag them out of the car, great. Well, you did a GTA. You did a GTA 3. You punch somebody, you drag them out of their car, and you steal their car, and then you sell it for money. That's political. You need that money, man. That money is the value that you need. If you're stealing, if you're knocking people out, you're playing the knockout game, which doesn't really exist, but you knock them out and you steal their wallet. That's political. That's politics. Why are these people so short on money? Well,
socioeconomic conditions.
Conditions and shit. That sounds very political to me. Most of the crime that exists, most of the street crime, the low-level shit, is based on socioeconomic conditions, which are inherently political. Just because I'm not a fan of Zion Dawn doesn't mean I'm an Antifa guy now. I can appreciate that, Tony. I can. You can say that you don't like certain things and do like other things. That's fine. That's good. I'm not in favor of the genocide that Israel is doing either. But Donnie is going to make that statement and your statements against him. Tony, you just became a goddamn terrorist according to Donald Trump. You are now a terrorist according to him. He is going to take away your right to say that. So we should not support him. The only way to defeat fascism is to move left.
Yep.
Yup, zep, yep. That's right. Taking away the freedom of speech from one group takes it away from every group. It's not a freedom anymore. The left doesn't actually want to take your freedom of speech away, Tony. They don't. They just want you to point at you when you do use your speech incorrectly. They want to tell you that, hey, that's not very woke. Two things can be true at the same time. Trump is a sellout and the left are maniacs. I can chew bubblegum and walk at the same time. Great. I agree with you. There are people on the left who go too far. And Donald Trump is a sellout. Yes, I agree. He's going to take your rights away.
And thinks he's not getting the knock.
I know,
the brown
right?
Shirts don't care if you cried for Kirk.
Tony, first they came for the transes, but you didn't care because you weren't trans. Then they came for the leftists, but you didn't care because you weren't a leftist. Then they came for the MSNBC hosts, but you didn't care because you were not an MSNBC watcher. Then they came for Kimmel, and you didn't care because you didn't like Kimmel. And then they came for the people who said things like Zion Dawn, and there was nobody left to stand up for you. Okay, it's a famous poem for a reason, boss. You're just you're just further down the list than some other people. Doesn't mean you're not on the list. All violence is political. If you are slapping your wife around, that is misogyny. Misogyny is a feeling. Misogyny is connected to a lifestyle of traditional marriage and traditional religion and traditional old-fashioned sentiment. You know, if you're shooting political speakers, that's obviously political violence. If you are the Gestapo, if you hire a bunch of brown shirts to wear masks and hurt protesters, that's political violence. If you are, let me see, what other kind of violence is that? There's not that much. I mean, specific crimes are all attached to the socioeconomic stuff. Personal crimes are based on your feelings. If you lynch someone, that's shockingly political. That's super political. The lynchings that happened in the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s, that's very political. Obviously, can anybody suggest how lynching people wasn't political? Of course it was. They didn't like that this other group of people were there, and they didn't like that the other people had rights, and so they harmed them. Political violence all violence is political. Leftists don't stand up for anyone to the right of Ho Chi Minh. So what's your point? I'm here standing up for people all the time. For Pete's sake, you guys canceled each other. Right, because it can't go wrong. I just told you that sometimes it goes wrong. The left is full of infighting and purity tests, and I'm here to set them straight. I'm doing my best. So how is this point supposed to not be hypocritical? And some of the people on the see, you're just pointing.
Tony, do you think Palestinians are leftists?
He thinks Palestinians are leftists. Yes. There are people on the left who can go after other people on the left. There are people on the left who would yell at me for the jokes I make. There are people at the left who would call me not woke enough. They're the extreme minority. There are people on the right who are Nazis. but they're the extreme minority, Tony. So all violence is political. All of it. All of it is based on feelings. I'm going to say most violence is political. Most violence is political because all violence is based on your feelings. All politics is based on feelings. So most violence is political. I can possibly think of maybe if you were, I can't think of any of violence that isn't political. I want you guys to tell me. I want you to think about it. What bit of violence I haven't mentioned that wouldn't be political, and I can't think of any. Leftism is inclusive. Rightism is exclusive. Yeah, absolutely, Valor. Tony, you think Palestinians are leftists? So, yeah, that's all violence is political. All of it. I can't think of any that isn't. If you really are beating your kids, it's because you were raised that way. That is a societal issue. That you hit your kids with switches, and then it's because your dad hit you with a switch.
Are accidents also violence?
No, accidents aren't violence.
Truly random acts, I guess. But then again, mental health stuff, it's skirting.
Yeah, and it's close. Like truly random acts. Yeah, if you. But even then, how did they do the violence? Maybe if a mentally ill person was just walking down the street and punching people. Is that political? No, not from his point of view. We don't like that. So we would put together some sort of protection from that. A police force, perhaps. And now we're in politics, baby. Do the police stop that? How do they stop that? Where do they show up? How much do we pay them? Who pays the police? Now we're in politics again. Is this person going to go to jail, or are they going to go to a mental institution? Politics again. Everything touches politics. Everything is political. Everything. Well, let me read this message from you, Tony. It got auto-modded. I didn't mod it, but it got modded. Let me see if it's respectable. Palestinians are not leftists, even when they were. It was leftism in the sense that they had groups supporting by the former. I can't allow that one. It says the word Palestinian, and so the auto mod modded it. He says they're not leftists, and I would agree with him. Palestinians are Muslims, and they're usually not leftists. Could I drag them to the left? Sure, I could convince them.
Tony working on that next ban. What new account name is it going to be?
Leftism isn't accepted anywhere. Tony, I know. That tastes like shit. You're telling me hard truths, and you're correct. Leftism isn't accepted because most of the world isn't smart enough for it. They're not advanced enough for it. Leftism is far more advanced thought process than reactionary tribalism hatred. Scandinavia is further left than most other countries, yes. The entire region over there is further left. They have socialist tendencies, and they push some of that stuff. Because it sucks. No, Tony, because you're not smart enough to comprehend it. I've spoken to you several times. You're not mentally advanced enough to do it right. Across various cultures, geography, cultures, no one wants that shit. Because they're too dumb. Tony, most people are dumb. I'm too big brain for the rest of the world. Yes, I am beyond you.
At Valhor 666 little center for me.
Most people are tribalist. Most people are hateful and distrustful. Not hateful, but most people are distrustful of people who don't look like them. Most people don't like people who are different. Most people can only comprehend very little about the world. Human beings were not intended and were not evolved to look at videos from the other side of the planet about people being murdered. If I were some sort of beast man who lived in a cave, would not know about the people in Ukraine being bombed by Russia. It takes electronics, it takes technology, it takes video cameras, it takes a network to show me those things. I've never been to Ukraine. It's a very long way from my house. If you killed 1,000 people in Ukraine today, I wouldn't know it unless some sort of networked information makes it to me. Humans were not bred to recognize those things. And when we start to see it, you start to get, things get weird. Technology changes people. I'm in a cult, dude. From the outside looking in, that's what it seems like,
What
right?
do
Because
guys
you
mean
don't
we're
know.
Tribalist? You people are always trying to label us.
Well, you're in a cult. Most people aren't ready for the future. Most people look backwards. Most people look toward themselves and their friends and what benefits them the most. And that's fine. That's human nature. Leftism is about overcoming human nature. And it is difficult. It's hard to wrap your damn head around. Leftism is about moving beyond what was in the past. Tribalism, racism, hatred, land wars. That's all in the past, except for Russia, who's doing a land war right now. And I want to move beyond it. I want to make the world a better place for the people who are coming after me. I want to plant trees that the children, that the future will sit under. What's that stupid thing? Peace is when old men plant trees that they'll never sit under the shade of. Bro's going to be ranting and raving about making the world a better place in a straitjacket soon. Maybe. If the fascists kick in my door and drag me off to the gulag, I might. I'll have to go to the re-education camp that the right wing set up because they don't want to move forward. They refuse to change. They want to go backward. Conservatism is a backward-facing ideology. What do you guys mean we're tribalists?
My people will be upset with your people if you call us tribalism one more time.
Good point. What you see is Jimbo Kimball. That's right. Good, excellent point. What you see is. So, all the violence is political.
Wanting a better world is crazy. Is like the worst take.
I know, right? Trying to make things better for tomorrow, today, is insanity to the conservatives. They don't recognize it. You need to be moving backward. See, Valor.
Think about what you're rooting for. You actually think Waldo needs to have violence done to him?
Valor, wanting the world to be better is crazy. To them, it really is, Valor. To the conservative, yesterday is better than tomorrow. So you should not be planning. You should not be building for tomorrow. You should not be preparing for a better world. Tomorrow, you need to drag us backward to yesterday when it was great. Make America great again. It was better in the past. They see things like Leave It to Beaver and think it was a goddamn documentary of that's how the world operated. It wasn't.
But Waldo,
and it didn't.
what about my profit margins right now? How can you think of tomorrow?
And capitalism is helping this. Capitalism is the driving force that moves all of us. Damn near all of your motivation is capital motivation. It's hard to unmoor your brain from the capitalist poison that we all get on a regular basis. Capitalism is the most powerful force in your life right now. I have no doubt. I don't know where you live, but capitalism is the most powerful force in your life. If you say the wrong thing, maybe on a live stream, you lose your job. If you say the wrong thing on TV, they fire you. If you say the wrong thing to your boss, you get fired, and then you lose your house, and then you can't provide anymore, and then you don't get to eat. Capitalism is the most powerful force on you right now. And leftism, generally, moves against that. It says, hey, can we break away from all this capital power? That's why there's no money in it. That's why I have so few viewers, not because you guys aren't great, but because I'm preaching anti-capitalism, and it's not good for business. It's not good for business. It's not good for making money. It's not good for the dosh. It's not good for the pocketbook of the people who own everything and put things in charge and put things in front of people and control the algorithm. What the hell was I talking about? That was fun. Was that fun? Did you guys have a good time with that? I did. I enjoyed that. Let's see. What in the hell else did we have to talk about today? Oh, yeah, the war report. That's what we're talking about. The war report. Donald Trump is doing war, and it's only going to get worse because we also have Russia doing war. The Estonian government is now initiating NATO Article 4 consultations. It is within its rights to shoot down Russian aircraft if the issue continues. This morning, 3 Russian MiG-31 fighter jets entered Estonian airspace. NATO fighters responded and the Russian planes were forced to flee. Such violation is totally unacceptable. The government of Estonia has requested NATO Article 4 consultations. So, what is that? Article 4 says that if Russia invades somebody within NATO, that every person in NATO goes to war with Russia. That includes us. That includes America. America is in that situation. So if Russia declares war on Estonia, which is a tiny little place that most people have never heard of, most Americans couldn't find Estonia on the map, and the rest of the Americans couldn't find the map. We are going to go to war over fucking Estonia. We are. We're going to start World War III because Russia invades Estonia. Or we're going to let them do it. Russia's going to invade, and Donald Trump will say, Estonia, what have they done for me lately? Estonia didn't pay their tariffs to America. Estonia, they said some nasty things about me. They sent a reporter who asked me what they were going to do. He was a very bad reporter. This is going to be the Zelensky thing all over again. This is Joe Biden's Estonia war. We're not going to help them. We're not going to start World War III over Estonia. Okay, that would be bad for business. That would be bad for the capitalist dollars. It would be good for the war economy, though. So maybe we do go to war. But they don't want America to go to war. They don't want America to be involved. They want to sell the weapons and the HIMARS jet, the rockets and the jets and stuff like that to Estonia so that they can take the money and they give them the rockets. And then Estonia can bomb Russia. And then Donald Trump wants to send some of his tax money. I don't know. He does. It's a fucking mess. Global politics is incredibly complicated. It's very difficult. It's not an easy thing to do. Donnie's not smart enough to do it. He's a moron. I'm sorry. He's an idiot. He's not smart enough to do those things properly. He's not smart enough to do those things intentionally. He's not smart enough to recognize what Article 4 is. He didn't know before yesterday. I doubt he knew. I'm sure someone has explained it to him, but he has forgotten in his dementia-addled brain what it is and what it means and what it does and where it comes from. So things might get ugly, and the people in charge are idiots. That's all I'm want. That's your war report. That's your war report for today. Things are ugly, and the people in charge are idiots. It'll be true tomorrow too. So it's one of them. They call that an evergreen video on YouTube, where it'll be good forever. And that's my evergreen comment: is that the world is a complicated and dangerous place, and the people in charge are idiots. It's true today. It's true tomorrow. It'll be true next year. I'm going to close that. We're going to close that. We're going to close that. We're going to close that. The hell is this? We already watched this. We watched that. We watched that. Cool lady. There she is. Still there. Oh, okay. So let's talk about the other thing that popped off today. More dumb news from a dumb president who doesn't know what he's doing. Restrictions on entry of certain non-immigrant workers. Oops. It's just one of those executive orders that isn't really a law, but it kind of is. And it's insane, and it's going to get challenged in court, and it's going to be a mess. The H-1B non-immigrant visa program was created to bring temporary workers into the United States to perform additive, high-skilled functions. It has been deliberately exploited to replace, rather than supplement, American workers with a low-paid, low-skilled labor. Not true. They're very high-paid, high-skilled labor, but the large-scale replacement of American workers through systemic abuse of the program has undermined both our economic and national security. No, it hasn't. The economy loves these workers because the economy thrives on immigration. It always has. It always will. National security is not a problem with the H-1B visas. That's a lie. Some employers, using practices now widely adopted by entire sectors, have abused the H-1B statute and its regulations to artificially suppress wages, resulting in a disadvantageous labor market for American citizens. That's kind of true. While at the same time making it more difficult to attract and retain the highest skilled subset of temporary workers. No, I mean, they're getting the workers they need, with the largest impact seen in critical science, technology, engineering, and math STEM fields. So, H-1Bs are given to people in other countries who are smart, usually. These are your tech workers. This is why when you call to complain about anything, you get a help desk in Bangladesh or in India or something like that. That is why this exists. And then the bigger companies like Microsoft and Amazon and stuff like that bring those programmers over here on temporary H-1B visas so that they can do the work. Okay. Why do they do that? Because they will work harder than an American, and they have less, they have more power with the paycheck. Someone from India comes over here, does this job, they get American money, which is a lot, and then they can spend it back in their home country, which goes farther. The dollars go farther over there because the complicated economic factors. But why the company does that is because they can pay them less. The company does it to pay people less because the company hates you. The company doesn't want to pay you. They don't want to pay you at all. They want to pay you as little as possible. But that doesn't fly for the American people. The American workers recognize this and know it. And so they try real hard to get as much money as they can. These H-1B people will work harder for less. So the company recognizes that and brings them over. Is this taking a job from an American? Yeah, it kind of is. So that's the kind of truth there, is that it's doing that. But the other problem is Americans have a harder time getting these degrees and getting these skills because you have to pay $1 bajillion to go to college. Again, socioeconomics all day, every day. Most of our problems in this goddamn country are from socioeconomic problems. People trying to make as much money as possible. People trying to steal as much from you as possible. People trying to make 1% more this year than they made last year is the source of most of our fucking problems. That's why I rail and rant against capitalism so damn often. They are the ones doing the difficult. They're the ones making things worse. If they would just fucking chill the fuck out and we didn't let investors decide the nation's policy, we would be a lot better off. Anywho, somebody in a smaller country goes to a college for almost no money, or their company or their country pays them to go to college, shit like that. There are other countries that pay their people to go to college and want their people to get smarter and go through this thing so that they can come to America, get that H-1B visa, marry a lady here, have kids, and then they're Americans. That's part of the plan. It really is. I'm not going to say it's not. And I think that's a great plan. That's a brilliant plan. I love that for America. I'm not going to pussyfoot around. I'm not going to half-ass you and say, well, they're. No, this is good for America. And nobody else is going to tell you that. I want the college graduates from another fucking country to come here through the H-1B visa program. We vet them. We find out who they are. We make sure they're not criminals or anything like that. I want them to work for America. I want them to be paid properly. And I want them to have the ability to become Americans, because that makes us stronger. That makes me stronger. That makes you stronger. That makes our entire country better. And if they have children, those are American children. But I'm a crazy leftist. I'm a crazy fucking wacko for saying so. Leftism is patriotism. The right is not patriotism. I'm sorry. It's just not. It's xenophobic. It's hatred towards anybody outside our borders, and that is not American. America's a melting pot. You got to stir it every now and then. You got to add some more ingredients and keep melting and keep stirring. It's how the damn thing is supposed to be. Anywho, I'm ranting again instead of reading the thing that I'm supposed to be reading. I hope you guys like it. If you do, press the thumbs up button. Press the like button. The number of foreign STEM workers in the United States has more than doubled between 2000 and 2019, increasing from 1.2 million to 2.5 million. So remember those numbers. We're going to look at those in a minute. While overall STEM employment has only increased 44% during the time among computer and math occupations, the foreign share of the workforce grew from 17% to 26%. So, and this is true, that Americans who go to a college expect to be paid a lot. Foreigners who go to that same college, get the same education, come here, will work for less. That's why the companies do it. That's why they like it. That's what they want, is to pay people as little as possible. But Donald can't comprehend that, so he just hates the fact that there are Indian people running around. He doesn't like that. He's very racist. Information technology firms in particular have prominently manipulated the H-1B visa system, significantly harming American workers in computer-related fields. The share of IT workers in H-1B program grew from 32% So, and then the next few paragraphs are just saying, evidence that H-1B visa workers are stealing American jobs. They are. But if we made those people Americans, then it would be an American doing an American job. And then what do we get? We get down here the actual thing that he does. What are they doing? This is a whole page of just grievance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 paragraphs of just bitching and complaining. That's all this is. 12 paragraphs of pissing and moaning, whining and bitching from the bitch baby president. Then we get to the actual thing that they're doing. Pursuant to section blah, 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 the entry into the United States of aliens as non-immigrants to perform services in a specialty occupation under section this is restricted except for those aliens who petitions are accompanied or supplemented by the payment of $100,000 to the government, subject to the exceptions set forth in subsection C of this section. The restriction shall expire absent extension 12 months, blah, 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 blah. So $100,000. So that's the first important thing. I know I've been rambling for 10 fucking minutes, but the most important thing right here, $100,000 for each of these people from somewhere, either from the people or from the company. Likely it would have to come from the company. This is a tax. This is a tariff. This is a increase in the amount of money that they have to give to the people. Now, this is not the golden ticket that he told about. He talked about just giving the government $5 million and then you're a U.S. citizen. That's the golden ticket that Donnie was trying to sell. I don't know if anybody has ever sold them, and I don't think they're legal. I don't think it's ever happened. But he was like, if you give the American government $5 million, you are an American citizen. Flat the fuck out. No questions, no arguments. If you've got a lawyer that can handle it for you, you can just do it without even being in America. That's fucking stupid. But Donnie's so hard up for cash. He only cares about money. Money, 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 SpongeBob. That's all he ever cares about. So this $100,000 would have to come from the company, Amazon, Microsoft. Let's look at how many. So I Googled this so that I would find out. How many H-1B visa holders are there at Amazon? Amazon has 10,000 of them. 10,000 times $100,000 is $1 billion. That's why this is happening. $1 billion in taxes that Donnie just levied on Amazon. And Donald Trump just added $1 billion to Amazon's taxes. He just did it with the stroke of a pen. Did it yesterday. Nobody fucking noticed. So Amazon's going to pay $1 billion in taxes. Waldo, isn't that what you want? Isn't that taxing the big corporations what you want? Well, I want to tax their profit, not their employers, or their employment and their employees, because they're going to cut the pay from those H-1B visa holders to offset this. But there's a workaround. There always is. Donnie's always on his hustle game. He always is on that. Oh, and here's Microsoft. Microsoft has 5,000 H-1B visas, which is $500 million. So just from those two, it's $1.5 billion in taxes that Donnie has raised because he loves raising taxes. He is a liar. He tells you that he's going to cut your taxes. He's wrong. He's lying. And he tells you that he's going to cut business taxes. He's wrong. He's lying. He wants that money. He needs that dosh. And he needs it from the poor, from the workers, from the people at the bottom. The people at the bottom pay more. Under conservatism, always have, always will. So, what was I going to... Oh, yeah, here we go. The loophole that you're probably already assuming is there. The Secretary of Homeland Security shall restrict decisions on petitions not accompanied by the $100,000 payment. Specialty occupation workers under section this, who are currently outside the U.S. for 12 months, blah, blah, blah. The Secretary of State shall also issue guidance as necessary and to the extent permitted by law to prevent misuse of HPVs. The restriction imposed pursuant its subsections blah 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 of the section shall not apply to individual aliens. All aliens work in the company. Aliens work. Blah, 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 blah. There's a loophole. Where is it? I read it earlier. Oh, I lost it. Hang on. Yell at me for sucking in chat. The Secretary of State shall verify receipt of payment. And DHS shall coordinate, take all necessary appropriate actions, implement. Employers not made the payment described. Restriction. Oh, there was a loophole. Where did it go? I swear it was in like the second paragraph. Here it is. I found it. So, the restriction imposed, blah, blah, blah. If the Secretary of Homeland Security determines in the Secretary's direct discretion that the hiring of such aliens is to be employed as H-1B specialty occupation workers in the national interest and does not pose a threat to national security or welfare of the United States. Secretary's discretion. You know what that means? If Donnie says you're allowed to. That discretion, discretion will be used any way they fucking want. If you kiss Donnie's ass, then you get excused from the taxes. If you show up, if your CEO, like Tim Apple did, and like Zuckerberg did not too long ago, show up at the White House, say nice things to Donald Trump, shake his hand, give him a fucking headline, you are excused from paying that $100,000 a person tax. We don't have a normal tax structure anymore. We have extortion from the White House, and the only way to dodge the extortion is to be on the good list, to be on Donnie's nice list. Either Amazon pays $1 billion or they go kiss Donnie's ass, give him a gift, give him a golden phone, shake hands in front of the cameras, give him a cool sounding headline that he will misconstrue about the billions of dollars that they're spending in America. That's what he did with Zuckerberg the other day. Zuckerberg was like, we're going to spend $600 billion in America. And then Donnie tells his people, he tells his MAGA faithful that he made $600 billion for the American, for the people. He didn't. It's nonsense. It's just part of the economy that was always there. And then he gets to claim that he saved you $600 billion because he doesn't know how the actual economy works. He doesn't know what these words are. He doesn't know what this stuff means. He will spin it into a narrative that makes him sound good on the economy. Kiss his ass, and you don't have to pay the tax that he unilaterally dictated. That's your government now. That's the MAGA extortion. That is the Donald Trump extortion plan. Invent crazy ass fucking taxes to force people to do what you want. And then when they try to get around it, they give you good PR. This is not all that different from King George implementing the Stamp Act that caused the Boston Tea Party. He wanted to hurt the people who were talking shit about him, and so he put a tax on them. There is no difference. Well, there's a little bit of difference, but that's the point, is that Mad King Donnie is trying to hurt the people he doesn't like. He doesn't like the fact that Indian people are doing most of these high-tech jobs. And why are they doing those jobs? Because the company can pay them less and their colleges are cheaper. If our colleges were cheaper, more people would go to them. And it'd be easier to get a degree. And then you would have the degree. And then you could use that to get a job. But no, Donnie hates, and all the conservatives hate colleges. They don't like that shit. They hate colleges. They hate higher learning. And they hate the idea that other people in other countries would get that higher learning and they come over here and use it. There is no solution here. Conservatism has no solution for this. Republicans have no solution for this. They have nothing. This will harm the tech sector. Smart people don't like me. Yeah. He is very upset that smart people don't like him. which is why they hate this is why they hate the colleges. They hate the colleges because that leads people to recognize reality. Education drives you away from conservatism. It really does, unless you're really good at lying to yourself. There are right-wing fucking people who are educated, but they're lying to themselves. They're lying to the people around them. They are intentionally, willingly disregarding and ignoring
H1B
the bad stuff.
Exploitative. If the company fires you, then you have little chance to stay in America.
Absolutely correct, which is why they're going to pass that $100,000 payment to the employees so that the company can pay them less. But what about Elon? Yeah, and Donnie has been having a fight with Elon lately, and Elon definitely does use a lot of those H-1B people. So this is a shot at big companies. This is a shot at Elon. This is a shot at poor people. This is a tax on working people. This is going to be construed by the right-wing media who lies to you on a daily basis that it's good for the American worker. It's not. This is what will drive these companies out of America. Facebook can set up anywhere it damn well wants in any damn country it damn well feels like. They're called Meta now, sorry. They can move their entire headquarters to somewhere else. And they might. Over this, they fucking might. Amazon could move their shit to somewhere else for cheaper. If it becomes cheaper for Amazon to move to Canada, they will. And Donald will piss and moan, cry and complain, and tell them to get out. And we'll build our own Amazon with blackjack and hookers, except that it won't function. And it will collapse. The American economy is going to collapse. And it'll be his fault. But it won't matter. None of the people on the news will tell you that. They will tell you that this just it couldn't be avoided, and it's because of something else that happened 60 years ago. They'll blame it on Bill Clinton, honestly, or Hillary somehow. Remember when President Hillary Clinton ruined the economy? I remember that. You guys remember that? Anywho, yes, this will harm the American tech sector, which is already doing pretty bad. This will harm the new AI super fucking farms that are being built in America. This will harm everything that we've got going on. I am suggesting to you that we are already in a recession if it weren't for all the giant AI money promises that are floating around right now. All the big companies are promising these giant super AI things that are going to be built and be farmed and all this AI shit. If it weren't for that, I think we would already be in a recession. And if this stupid ass plan hurts those AI companies, a recession will hit. It will happen and it will hurt a lot of people. And Donald will not understand it, and he won't understand what's going on, and then he will take a nosedive in the polls, and then maybe we win in the midterms. The Dems take more seats in the midterms. Then they do something. Maybe they will impeach him. I have no doubt that they will impeach him, but then we'll just get they'll be too wimpy and too wienery. I'm predicting right now. That's what I'm going to do. I'm predicting the future for you, and it is very hard to do. I need a prediction hat. What kind of hat does... I know Johnny Carson used to have the Swami hat, but that seems culturally insensitive, so I'm not going to do that. What kind of a hat would a future prognosticator have? Anywho, because I lost all my hats. I used to have cool hats that would appear on the screen, and I've lost them. When my hard drive died. Anyway, what the fuck was I talking? Predicting things. When in the this causes either the companies to go kiss his ass, and then no changes happen. Nobody pays this tax, but he brags about it forever. That's the best case scenario. That is literally the best case scenario. Apple, Google, Microsoft, X, all go and kiss his ass, and then he never charges any of them any of this tax, and then he brags about all the money that he made, even though none of them paid it. And he continues to function. What is the Oracle of Delphi? Where's the uniform? I have no idea. Then he loses at the midterm elections if this cripples the economy, and it might. Slightly worse. The Dems win in the primary. They impeach him. They're not strong enough. They're not powerful enough to impeach J.D. Vance too. So we get J.D. Vance, Chance Vance, that's his full name, to be the president, and he is worse than Donald Trump, but not as bad. Follow me here. Is he worse than Donald Trump? Yes. Is he as bad as Donald Trump? No, because he doesn't have the he doesn't have the ability to weave. Johnny can do that weave. That when you listen to him talk, he does this hypnotism thing that a lot of normies get hypnotized by, and it befuddles them. They don't know what he said. They don't know what he talked about. He said a lot of things, and so they fill those gaps in with their own preconceived bias. Jonathan Vance can't do that. He talks like a normal politician. The people won't support him. He will not get the support that he needs, which means he will have to use more force than Donnie does currently. So more force is not going to make him look good. They will lose the next election if we go down that path. So that is the path that I kind of think is going to happen. Recession. Democrats win the midterms. They do a impeachment. Donnie throws a fit. He loses the impeachment, and I think he actually could, and he's removed. They're not strong enough to get rid of Stance Vance. So then he takes over as president, and then he does a piss poor job. He does some more violence. He will do state violence. Jonathan Vance will do political violence. He loves it. He likes it. He wants some more of it, and he will do it. And he will tell you that it's not political violence. He will lock up his the people who talk about him. They will shut down the First Amendment. They will shut down the press. They will shut these things down violently. And he will tell you that's just keeping America safe. More ICE raids will happen. More people will die. More people will be hurt. More innocent people will be harmed. More American citizens will be harmed by ICE. And he will tell you that's not political violence, because he's a liar and a fascist. And you can't trust him. They're not good faith arguers. And then if they don't violently prevent the next election from happening, he'll lose. And a Dem will take over, and it'll be, I don't know who yet. I've yet to see that far. But it's not looking good for him. Well, that was a day. Did I have anything else to talk about today? What else did I have to talk about today? Doop, 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 doop. Doop, 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 doop. Yeah, let's talk about trans people for a minute. They are in the news again, and I know, can I look at this? Okay, yeah. The FBI readies a new war on trans people. We're looking at the entire spider web. Now, this happened a couple of days ago, but that's Kash Patel.
One day or many days? Question mark.
This happened a couple of days ago. The podcaster was called before Congress to explain what the FBI is doing. That's what Congress is there for. It's what they do. But he was hired to talk shit, and so he talked shit to Congress, and that was his job, and that's why President Trump likes him. The Trump administration is preparing to designate trans people as violent extremists in the wake of Charlie Kirk's murder, two national security officials tell. We're looking at the entire spider web for any of these attacks. FBI Director Kash Patel said Attorney General Pam Bondi said, Attorney General Pam Bondi said, after the Kirk murder, are putting this crazy ideology into our schools. No, they're not. Echoing the growing view of many in Trump's inner circle that a cult of gender ideology is behind the explosion of violence by some as yet unidentified radical left. They did talk about the left-wing ideology and all the people who support it. There's no support for left-wing ideology. The vice president threatened to go after all of the people who are funding these left-wing orgs.
People are not always straight.
Right, but they're going after all the left-wing orgs. There aren't any. They're going after all the money from George Soros. There's not any. It's imaginary. They have imagined that there is some gigantic political machine with trillions of dollars paying people to protest, paying people to be trans, paying supporters to support the trans ideology, paying to make people gay. It's nonsense. None of it is real. None of it exists. There is no vast army of Antifa. It just doesn't exist. It's not real. But they have convinced the normies in the middle.
Bezos couldn't pay that much.
I know. Nobody could pay that much. Nobody's paying the left. Nobody is. There's no money on the left. If there were money on the left, they'd make more money. And then there would be grifters pushing left-wing ideology with bad faith, but there's not any. The biggest left-leaning people on the internet, they're not on mainstream news, that's for goddamn sure. You got your Hassan and your Destiny and maybe a couple of other streamers. They're only making money from ads and donations from people. They're not getting giant CPAC money. They're not getting giant, I didn't mean CPAC. I meant C13, what are the, Super PAC money. They're not getting Super PAC money. Fucking TYT is not getting Super PAC money. Hassan is not getting Super PAC money. That's insane. All that money is going to the right. It's going to Charlie Kirk. It's going to Ben Shapiro. It's going to 1,000 little right-wing channels. And then the only left-wing grifters. Yeah.
W Destiny.
EU Destiny. Yeah.
Mostly
I've never
XD.
been a fan. I've only watched long enough to like ape his format here. I like the format of talking to you, talking to chat, having things up on the screen. I said, how is he doing this? He's very big and very important, and this is kind of what he does. Same for Hassan. I don't watch him all that regularly. I get a clip here and there, but he is a complicated guy. But what was I talking about? I don't want to turn it into a drama stream. There is no they. There's no they. They are pushing these ideas on you. This vast left-wing conspiracy is forcing your kids to know these things. No, there is no vast left-wing conspiracy. The left-wing can barely fucking hold itself together. They cancel each other all the time. Tony mentioned it early. Yes, the left cancels other leftists all the time. There is no, if there was a grand conspiracy, they'd all be in line and they'd all be taking the checks and they'd all be doing saying the things that get them paid. But that doesn't exist. If George Soros had some sort of fucking motive to pay all the people on the left, we'd all be saying the same thing. But you don't see that on the left. You see that on the right. You see all the people on the right telling the same thing. You see them all saying the same thing over and over again. And I'm sure you've seen it, but I'll find the video of all the people on the right-wing news media saying the same thing because I saved it. Oops. I have to scroll down because it's right here. I got it right here. Here it is. Here we go. Boop. Here we go. Let's watch this.
Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about the trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Antonio.
Now, why did all those people on the news repeat the same fucking sentences? Because they were paid to. And they would lose their job if they didn't. That's the world you live in now. The right wing pays these people to say these things. And if they don't, they lose their job. And if they lose their job, they don't have the money, and then they lose their big house. That's not happening on the left. I would challenge anybody to say where that's happening on the left. Sometimes the Dems do this, but they're also capitalists, you see. So when I rightly pointed out that all the Dems made a TikTok and they all said the same fucking speech and they all did the same thing. They all stood there. They held the microphone because that's how you're realistic these days. You don't just have a microphone above you. You have to hold it in your hand. That's what the kids fucking like. And they made a TikTok where they said the thing and then they said the wordy dirt. They said bullshit and then they sat down.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Absolutely right. Any of it, you are now a right-wing shill. I've confirmed it. You've been paid by fucking Sinclair Media, and I still want you to be here. I need the numbers. Thanks for being here, though. You're a right-wing shill now. I'm sorry. Your check must have cleared. There's nobody on the left doing that. There's no Sinclair Media on the left paying all the people to say the same thing. It's just not happening. It's not happening. It's not real. They're imagining it. What they're going to do, what other people on the right going to do, they're going to lie to you. They're going to find a tiny little streamer. They're going to find some reporter, Ken Klippenstein, or
I'm going to make so much Trump coin off this.
Yeah, you better cash those in real quick. Then they're going to find some MSNBC contributor and then call them the left-wing Antifa super soldier, and that they have a vast network of billions of dollars that are going to these left-wing orgs, and it's just not going to be true. And they're going to lie. And then these people that you see right here, all these people on these channels are going to tell you that lie. They're going to repeat that lie. They're going to spit it to you. And if they don't, they lose access. Fox 29 will cease to function. It will lose its license if it doesn't repeat the Trump propaganda. And that is extremely dangerous to our democracy. I appreciate everybody who's here today. It's about 12 o'clock, so that's when I usually knock off. I'm going to go eat some lunch because I'm hungry. And I'm sorry I didn't have any doggies today, but they are tired. They were playing around a lot this morning and a lot yesterday, so they're still kind of pooped at the moment. So I am going to, but I did put up a new photo in the Discord. If you haven't been there yet, you can go to the Discord and look at the cool photos. We
appreciate you, Waldo.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. That's the link to the Discord right there. You can go on over to that Discord right there and look at the videos and look at the and argue with people. You can debate Valor on that Discord. You can debate any of it on that Discord if you'd like. They're usually right about everything, but I don't know why you would want to debate them, but you could. So you can go on over there and do that, or you can go to the YouTube page and follow me on YouTube. I take all of these, turn them into little videos, and then put them up on the YouTube.
XD.
I'm getting some views. A lot of the YouTube's a whole fucking thing, but I'm getting some views right now. I'm getting a traction on views. I'm getting closer. I'm at 332
XD
subscribers on YouTube, which is exciting and fun. And if I get to 1,000, they start paying me, and we know that when you get paid to talk, it's extremely dangerous to our democracy. So help me become a danger to the democracy by following me on YouTube and clicking the subscribe button. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. I've had enough. You've had enough of me. I get it. And that is all I can do for today anyway. So I'm going to go eat some lunch. There's a new doggy picture on the Discord. Go there and look at it. And I will see you on Wednesday, unless the Gestapo, as Tony has predicted, will kick in my door and drag me off to the gulag. Have a good day. Bye.